What does this new joint statement say?
Well, basically, Germany, France and the UK are calling on a, quote, credible investigation into this disappearance, saying that they wanted to establish the truth about what happened to Jamal Khashoggi and if there has been any foul play, to identify those responsible for the disappearance of the journalist. The joint statement is also calling on Saudi Arabia to collaborate with the investigation being organized by Turkey and provide detailed answers to all questions being raised. Of course, the number one question is just where is this journalist that was last seen entering the embassy on October 2nd and has not been heard ever since. Saudi Arabia insists it has nothing to do with this disappearance. But of course, pressure had been mounting on European countries to say something about this case. Here in France, journalists and politicians alike were asking Emmanuel Macron just when he was going to say something. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, who's known to have a close relationship with Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi crown prince. When he visited France back in April, the French president said that the world needed to give him a chance. Now, of course, pressure is mounting to know whether or not France is going to actually respond. And if Saudi Arabia is indeed responsible for a murder, well, will France do anything about that?
Well, we've had this joint statement. That's one thing. But how far might this go? What measures might those European countries take if Saudi Arabia refuses to cooperate still?
Well, that is a very good question, Belle, because nobody knows for sure what action will be taken by European countries. What we're likely to see is something similar to whatever the U.S. does. If economic sanctions is the path chosen by the U.S., that is most likely what European countries will choose to do as well. But what is important to note here is just how cautious these countries are being. They're not saying Saudi Arabia must pay. They're saying, let's get to the bottom of what happened. And just why, the reason why, of course, is because the economic impact would be tremendous, not only for the U.S., but for European countries that remain that have sustained and have nurtured very close economic relations with Saudi Arabia.